Good afternoon, welcome to Made by Granat. My name is Anna and I'm here today to do a flip through of this little journal. I have been working on it here on my channel for a while and then I forgot to do a flip through. Anyway, this journal was made by a repurposed book that was published in 1831. And I haven't done, it says 1831 there. I haven't done anything to the cover because it was so lovely and grungy. This image is a Tim Holtz one, and it is going to come off. First we are going to measure her. She is 4 by 6 inches with a spine that is 1 1/4. So it's not a big book, but she packs a punch anyway. She has 7 signatures and a total of 170 pages, somewhere around that. The signatures are sewn in with a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and it has a hidden hollowback spine. So I will remove this velvet ribbon, and the image is attached to it, so it will plop down there if you like, or you can take it out. It's just to pull the ribbon off. And this is also Tim Holtz, the frame, and I think it's absolutely cute. The book itself is really grungy, as I said. It is leather bound, has this marble paper behind, and then this is put on here, and it says Conseil de ma fille, and it's a French book from 1831, as I said. The corners are also leather. The spine is absolutely beautiful, and it has gone through lots. It has been punched about and so, but I absolutely love this little book that is now turned into a junk journal. So let's start. I have left the old end papers in. I haven't done anything to it because I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Here you can see the fabric that I have sewn the text block onto and then glued in, but this is, everything here is original. This is also the original first page. I have just done a little bit of rub-on down here with some lavender, and this is a tipping, or no, it's not, sorry, it's hinged. We have, of course, tea-dyed paper, lots and lots of writing space as usual in my journals. This is a vintage envelope from 1972, and that I have opened up to make even more journaling space. This is a French book page folio, and it is a religious book, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous with these frames. Here we have a flyleaf from another book. We have a piece of a coral book in the center. And here we have a tip-in, and that is a piece of Tim Holtz necklacing. I lost the word. Transparency. And here is another tip-in, and that is a piece of book page, and I have done some mark making with my watercolors, and that those match each other. Here we have the rest of the book page, flyleaf, and the rest of the French book page. Here we have a pocket, and this is made out of a genuine vintage wine label, and inside it is this little journaling card that I made out of some I'm lost for words today. a masterboard, and I put this lovely lady here that I fussy cut out of a book about fashion history. We also have a small vintage Swedish stamp, a label, and some tatting. So that goes in there. And here I have mended the envelope with some false cellophane tape. Or it is cellophane tape, but I have aged it to look older. We have the rest of the tea-dye paper. And here is another book page from the original book. I have mended it with my tape. Here's a little tab up here. And this is old mending from the old owner of the book. And I love this. I love that it's so grungy and really been loved and used. We have some more tea-dye paper. And here's another book page from the original text block. And here we have a little pocket made out of a fussy cut out of a advertisement in a Swedish vintage or maybe antique magazine. And a small label behind, and this is just a piece of Seven Gypsies. I believe it is. Ephemera. I think that looks quite interesting. Here we have another opened up envelope. And another piece of vintage or antique, I'm not sure, French religious book page with lovely frame around once again. I love this. They're so gorgeous. This is from a small vintage notebook. This is some tea-dyed scrapbooking paper in the center here. Coffee dyed. It's coffee dyed, not tea dyed. And we have the back of the book page. Here we have another pocket, and this one is made out of vellum. And on top of the vellum, I put some rub on with this peony, and then I tore it and inked it. And here we have another tag. This one is made in one of my Use It or Lose It's, first cut from the same book about fashion history. A little tab up here and a label, and on the back is a piece of scrapbooking paper. Lovely, lovely. Here we have another tip in, and this is comes from a book about art, and I love this image. The detail in her dress is just amazing. More book page from the original text block, and more tea-dyed paper. And here is another one of the first pages that also says 1831. Here we have a tip-in made out of a brown paper bag that I have embossed. And then there's a small tab up here. And behind it we can see another vintage Swedish stamp. We have another open up envelope. I love using envelopes, and I have so many. This is one of the illustrations from the original text block, and as you can see, it is so grungy. I love the images. They are beautiful, and I put them all back in the book. This is a German conversation dictionary. That's small and cute. In the middle here we have a piece of genuine ephemera. And behind it we have a side tuck that is a piece of Tim Holtz collage strips, I think they're called. And inside it is this. This is a piece of a vintage postcard. And I think it's a beautiful image, so it went in here. We have the back of the German book. And here is another illustration of the knight over there, and the back of the envelope. Here I have stamped tea-dyed paper with, I believe it is, could be a sample or maybe a tailor-made journal stamp. Can't remember right now. Tailor-made journals, I believe. And here's another page from the original text block. And the tea dye paper. And another original. And here is an older envelope that I have opened up. Here is a photo from a book that's called Prince and Other Dogs. And it's full of vintage photos or antique photos of dogs and their owners. And I absolutely love using it. We have some vintage lined paper, school book. And in the center here we have an envelope. I have added these small pieces of ephemera up here. And this opens up. And inside it is this vintage French postcard. I believe it's vintage. I can't see a date. But it's really old. Could be antique. And that goes in there. Here's the rest of him standing in the window looking after his mom and dad. The rest of the dog book. And here's the back of the envelope. I have mended it. It was lined with some tissue paper, and that tissue paper I believe will go with the book. If I can find it. I think I put it away. Here's a tab. Then that tab is actually made out of the old headband from the journal, from the book. So it's cool to put that back in. And book page. Tea-dyed paper. And more book page from the text block. Here we have another stamp from the same stamp set as the other one. We have another original illustration. Love the foxing on the back of that paper. I have another open up envelope and one more of the antique or vintage French book pages that are religious. But I love once again the frame around it. This one is pale blue-green. We have, this is a piece of genuine ephemera from 1959, and it had been clipped in with a rust paper clip, and then I just added some napkin. I did some decoupage. Here is more of the French page and the back of the envelope. Here comes another image from the book. Looks a bit dramatic, but once again lovely foxing. On this book page I have just added this is a vintage Christmas card actually. I added a stamp here and a small tab with the laundry labels. That's French, and you can journal in here, and it's also a pocket. And I added this little tag in here. I believe I made this in one of my Use It or Lose It. And some more tea-dye paper, some more book page, and here we have another one of the envelopes and ledger. Oh no, it's not the ledger, it is a you know, the kind of books you used to keep in your car many years ago, when I was a kid anyway, and when you put gasoline in the car you wrote how much it was and how much got in and so on, away it went. And that's the back of that. And we have another French book page, and here is another fussy cut from the book about fashion. And here we have some ledger in the center. And here is a pocket, a big pocket, and it is a postcard that I just glued on here, on that back of the card journal. And here's a small journaling card I made using an advertisement from a magazine from the 20s, I believe. Back of the envelope, here is a clipped in thing. This is a playing card that I have collaged upon and added a paper clip, and then there is a small token called with a name with play on it, and this idea came from my dear friend Carol at the Friendly Quail. And I just tucked in a small book folio here behind it and clipped that in. I love this idea. I made tons of them because I have playing cards that I wanted to use. And we have more tea dye and more book page. And here's another tip in, and this time it is a fly leaf from another book, and I just added this. This is from a scrapbooking paper. This man there, looking handsome. Maybe it's the father, her husband. I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We have more tea dye paper and another envelope. Here's another piece of French book page. Here we have tea dyed paper, and I did a pocket out of an envelope from, not an envelope, sorry, an advertisement. And this is his master's voice. And it's in Swedish from the same old magazine. And inside it is this little notebook I made out of a postcard, vintage genuine postcard. And how I made this is also one of my use it or lose it's. Here we have a small 6x6 scrapbooking paper in the center of that signature. Trying to use those up as well. And the back of the envelope and the last tea dyed paper, and it says fin du premier volume, end of the first volume, and it is. So that was the small conseil à ma fille, and this journal has been so much fun to make. I loved every minute of it. Grungy, small, it was a challenge. It really was a challenge, but I think I did good. So that is it for this journal. I hope you enjoyed this flip through. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of this small journal. I myself find her absolutely gorgeous. And what I was going to say is the book's title was Conseil à ma fille, which in English means something like advice for my daughter. So maybe it's the advice for her daughter. I will be back soon with another video. This journal will be available in my Etsy store in a few hours. So make sure to go in and follow my Etsy store if you want to get a notification about when this journal is listed. Thank you all so much for watching this. I wish you a great weekend. Bye.